Hi guys, it's Miss Russell, and we are going to start a symmetry mask today. I'm going to position this. Symmetry. That is something we were talking about last time, where if you take it and you cut something in half or you draw a line down it, it should be the same on both sides. So for example, in this mask, if I fold it in half, everything that's on this side should match that side. And we talked last time about how people have symmetry, just like the mask. So if you draw a line down the center of your face, you're gonna have half a nose, half a mouth, half a mouth. People have symmetry. But then we also talked about how some shapes have more than one line of symmetry, such as a circle. If you draw a circle, you cut it any way you want, as long as you're making it through the center of the circle, it will be symmetry. So for our symmetry mask, you're going to need a couple pieces of paper and crayons, colored pencils, whatever you choose. You could even use paint if you want. I'm going to use some white paper for the demonstration, but even if you had construction paper, you could do a lot with it. Now this is only step one, so keep this, and next week our video will talk about how to actually finish the mask. But to start the mask, you're going to fold a piece of paper in half, just like we did with, what was our last project? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, it was owls. In the owls, we folded them in half. We need to remember our open edge, and this is your folded edge. Open edge, folded edge. Notice my paper is folded tall. So now that it is folded in half, I'm going to draw half of a mask. So for example, here's one. Once again, if I fold it, and you see what it looked like on this piece of paper. I only drew half that mask. So we're going to take our pencils, make sure that you're starting on your folded edge, not your open. And I'm going to start at the top of my mask. I'm going to think about the head coming out. Maybe it has a little wave to the side. Maybe it comes in some. It has some little spikes. Take it all the way back to the fold. So we start at the fold and we end at the fold. Look again, make sure you did that. And now we're gonna cut. Now you can try this a few times until you get a mask that you like, the shape that you like. Make sure when you're cutting that your paper is closed the whole time. So I'm actually cutting two pieces at once. If you do not have colored construction paper to do this in, and you're using white paper like I am, I would choose to add a color to this paper, whether you paint it or color it. But take some time before you do anything else and give the paper a color. Do not draw eyes or anything like that. Our next step is that we're going to cut and glue some eyeballs on. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it to the side. And I'm going to grab a new piece of paper. And once again, I'm going to fold it in half. Now this time, I'm going to start by drawing two lines. And they're going to go completely across. So I'm going to try and divide my paper up into thirds. I'm going to draw a line here, and come down and draw a line here. Up here, I'm going to think of a shape for an eye. You could have circle eyes if you want, or maybe you'll do triangle eyes. I don't know. You choose. Draw a shape. Maybe I'll do heart. I'm just going to draw it in the middle of that. I'm only going to draw one. Don't draw two. So that's going to be my eyeball for my mask. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to think about the nose. Now the nose, that needs to have symmetry. The nose will be on the center line. So I'm actually only going to draw half of the nose that I choose. You can see this one, I chose to make my nose a rectangle. This one, when I drew it, my nose was a triangle. Find your folded edge, open edge. You need to draw on the folded edge this time, half a nose. So maybe for this one, I'm gonna draw half a circle. Draw them nice and big. So there's my nose, there's my eyes, and my next thing I wanna draw is a mouth. Once again, it needs to touch that center line. Here, this mouth I did really big, and it even went off the edges of my paper, my mask, and there's that one. So for this mouth, right down here, I'm gonna start on the fold. I think I'm gonna try and do lips to where it has that M shape, and then it's gonna come out. Draw them nice and big. So this is my mouth, only half of it. That's half my nose, and that's an eye. Now, when we cut, I'm gonna start by cutting them apart. I think I'll start with my eyes right here. And notice that it's actually two papers. I'm gonna cut that heart out, and since I'm cutting two at once, I'm gonna end up with two of the exact same eyes. Now, once again, if you are using white paper to do this, then you're gonna wanna color that in before you glue it down. Because if I glue it onto white paper, it's gonna be really hard to see. I'm not gonna take time to color mine in. Instead, I'm gonna outline it so that you'll still be able to see it when I glue it down. And you could even have star eyes. There's all kinds of stuff that you could decide. Okay, there's my eyes. I'm gonna use itty bitty dots of glue and put them on my mask. Hopefully you already colored your mask in. That was more interesting than mine is right now. Next, I'm gonna go to the nose, and I'm gonna cut that out. And this is now my nose. I'm once again gonna outline, since I'm gonna leave mine white at the moment so that my video is not super long, but I want you guys to color yours in. You decide how. There's all kinds of choices you could do here. Now, the nose needs to go in the center, on that center line. And the next part I need to cut out are my lips. And these are gonna be really big. Color them in if they're not already a color. There we go. My lips are so big they went off the edges of my mask, but it still works. Now I'm gonna set this one to the side, and I'm gonna start using one of my colored masks to show you the next step. So this is step one. Step two is that to make this mask more interesting, we need to add more layers. So on my eyes, I could add another shape. Maybe, and once again, I wanna make sure I have two pieces of paper. Maybe since these ones were circles, maybe I'll add square. Now cut these out. They need to be smaller than my current eye to do layers. So, if I glue them down like this, they become more interesting. Make sure you're not using too much glue. So now my eyes have 2 layers. I'm gonna go to my nose and add another layer. This time, I need to draw something on a fold. So here's my fold, and I'm gonna draw a circle. And I'm gonna cut that out. And now my nose has 2 layers. And I'm ready to do that to my lips. I think I'm gonna grab a new piece of paper. I've kind of run out of room. Remember, lips, I have to draw from the fold. We're always trying to show symmetry. And I think, so here's my fold. There's my open edge. I think I'm gonna go with a rectangle for this. So I think a rectangle might fit nicely in here. Now color these in if they are not a color, if you're not using colored construction paper. And then, remember I said I wanted it to be smaller than my first layer. So this is a little too long. I need to shorten it. There, that'll fit better. I could still shorten it a little bit more. Maybe if I angle it, meaning cut it at an angle here. Oh, it finally fits. Art's all about experimenting, trying to get them to fit in there. So, my eyes have 2 layers, and does my nose and my mouth. My eyes could fit a whole nother layer in there, easy. So maybe I'll go with circle. I want to cut 2 at once. And I don't want to glue white on white, so I need to color these in. Go. Now it's got pupils. But I could keep going. I could layer this up and I could layer that up some more. Another thing I want to think about is, do I have too much open space over here? Could I cut things and fill that space just a little bit? So if I took some little pieces, this would be a good. I cut some little lines of paper. I have to do it with symmetry. So if I put something there, I have to put something here. So if I take this line here, I'm gonna have to take this line here. Symmetry. Maybe I'll add 1 more to each side. There's that. I could look over here, but I think down here needs something else. Let's see. Oh, wait, look at these triangles that I had. There's 2 of them, so I could use them. Maybe I could add those right there. If I add 1 to one side, I have to add it to the other. So I want you to take your time. I want you to layer your mask up, but don't forget symmetry. Add some color when you're doing your layers. And then next week, I'm going to talk to you about how to add even more color. Thanks for creating with me. We'll see you next week. Send your stuff to me. You can do it either on Google Drive or you can send it on Artsonia.